Hello and welcome back to Michelle's Life on Repeat. I am in my orchid room today and it is very needed for me to water my new seedlings and my mounted orchids because I have had a heck of a week, 2 weeks, I don't even remember, of migraines, but it's been a while, so I wanted to show you something orchid related in my orchid room. I do have some really big broad-leafed Phalaenopsis, and I'm very proud of them because they were my starter ones. They were the ones that went all the way down to death level, knocked on the door, and then peeked in and said, nah, not for me. And they decided to come up and start growing. And they are on my top shelf because they absolutely love the highest light that I can give them. So I'm going to bring those big leafed Phalaenopsis down just to give you a looky-loo at how they're doing. I wanted to start in the front with this first one. She may be a big leafed orchid one day, but today she is just surviving and thriving. If you know any history with me and Schroeder, Schroeder was the first orchid that my husband brought home from work that didn't completely die on my behalf, but she began to grow roots and I had to do it ever so slowly. So she is one of the oldest orchids in my collection. I think I received her in 2018. We have tried everything, and eventually as her roots began to grow longer and stronger and her leaves began to multiply, I put her into semi-hydroponics with the lecca beads, and she has a water reservoir down below. Usually will pour water manually over the top of the lecca, a good flush once a week, but midweek I will give her a pour over with water. But I clean out her reservoir, check the water and the pH levels, and make sure that I keep it down in the 5.8 zone because of the lecca. It will often creep up to a lot higher, and as it creeps up, it will kill my roots. So I really check them every week. And with my TDS meter, I like to keep it in the 300 range or lower for parts per solids, is that what it is? And I like to keep the pH down at 5.8 if I can when they are being lecca pellets. Let me just spin her and show you how Schroeder, my first ever orchid that I tried to recover, and it's grown, it's grown these beautiful, beautiful shiny leaves. I am thankful for the shiny leaves. This one is this year's. Last year's, obviously, when I had to go into rescue mode, she was down here. And over here is a little tiny one. That was when she was recovering. She was actually growing her roots and not leaves that year, 2019. And here we're working on 2020 and 21. She is like, I own this place. I am going to become a big leafed, broad-leafed Phalaenopsis. I don't even know what kind of color she will be. It will be a mystery. This next beauty is, like I said, one of my ones that my husband brought home from work in rescue mode. I do not know what color she will be, but she is the first Phalaenopsis that started from a cut, no spikes, and has grown a spike in my care. So I am tickled pink. Pink being one of my favorite colors. I have no idea what color she will be. She's up close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buds. And I can't show you her roots that are in the pot because this pot is solid. It's not a liner, it is the pot. But you can see her roots around the sides. Here, I always like to cover a root before it decides to go up with the heavy rocks so that they will go down. And I just changed her water a couple of days ago and made sure the pH was down at 5.8. I have put her back up on the top shelf where she can continue to grow that spike directed straight up towards that Mars Hydro light. She is up in the Vanda level light and loving every minute of it. We have the second jumbo one that I just am so tickled with its growth. Those big shiny leaves give you a perspective of how big this leaf might be. Let's see, that's my thumb, that's my forefinger. You know, it's not as big as little Lorraine. We'll see her next, but those are massive, and her roots are happy in bark, and they have a red tip to the roots, so I am guessing she is going to be a pink or a maroon Phalaenopsis when I see the proper growth. Now she will probably not even begin a spike until she gets that first cold winter. I was letting these ones from my husband's work acclimate, and I did not give them a cold drop in the fall for that 6 weeks or so of time where the Phalaenopsises love to think they're going into winter, and then they start their spikes. So what she has done is grown roots and leaves and then more leaves. And I'm hoping in a few months when fall starts, we drop that temperature, she might start growing me some spikes. And here you can see her little roots are growing in there. Anyway, you've all seen Phalaenopsises. I'm just proud of them with the love of the light that they have. Let me move on to the next one. And up on the wall with her 3 beautiful blooms is the one broad-leafed orchid that I mounted this year, and she has produced that spike and 3 flowers for this year. This next one hasn't got a personal name yet. She's a no ID Phalaenopsis, but I usually name them according to the color of the flower and what, or the shape of the leaves and what they remind me of. The only characteristic this one has given me that reminds me who she is this burnt leaf. My husband had her too close on the windowsill at work and brought her home, and we just let her rest and do her thing. When she was comfortable in my house, I transplanted her into lecca, and you can see that she is growing. She started this new leaf, but she's also got a little tiny one in there trying to come out too. Let me lift her up. I do have a string in here and some beads, glass beads and pellets. Let me drop this. I am sorry, I'm in an awkward position here. Roots on top, roots on the bottom. Here we have little Miss Lorraine. Lorraine being my mama's name, I call her Little Lorraine. Look at that shiny leaf she's grown this year. These were last year's leaves, and they are massive. Here's my hand, it goes to here, so she's almost two hands long for me. And she is happy girl. I left her in a bark. It's a combination of everything, but it's mostly bark, some lecca, some charcoal down there. The moss is over new active roots, and I water them, and a little bit of everything. Pretty crystal stones. And I water her a big drink weekly, and midweek I pour some water over the top and let it drip through. We are creeping up into the 100-degree mark here in Washington State, and so we are hitting another heat wave. The orchid room, the highest I've seen it yesterday was 88 degrees and about 62% humidity. So I open up the door at night, let the air conditioner come in and cool it down a little bit, and then drop the shade down in the daytime. Little Lorraine has a real name. She does, really, she does. I think I got her at Safeway grocery store, so I don't know if this is correct or not. It says P, and it looks like L-Lane Duke. Grocery store. She came with 3 glorious spikes, 1, 2, and 3. The third one never turned brown, so I'm hoping she will bloom off of that one. But they were massive and tall, and I had to cut them down because if they regrew off of the already huge spike, they'd be touching my ceiling. So I had to make them fit on the shelf, so I cut down her spikes. Little Miss Lorraine is like a pink salmon and is gorgeous, gorgeous, just like my mama. And thank you for showing up today to look at my big leafed phals. I'm going to give her a little sip of a drink. Appreciate your time until we talk again. Bye bye.